Backing of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, PIJ, 1990s, present. In the volatile cauldron of the Middle East, where alliances shift and rivalries deepen, Iran has carefully cultivated powerful proxies to advance its agenda and challenge its adversaries. Among these proxies, Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, PIJ, have emerged as Iran's most lethal instruments in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Through the unwavering support of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, these groups have transformed from local resistance movements into formidable military and political forces capable of striking deep into the heart of Israel. For the IRGC, Hamas and PIJ are not merely allies. They are extensions of Iran's regional strategy, designed to destabilize Israel, assert Iranian influence in Palestinian territories, and project Iranian power across the Middle East. Iran's relationship with Hamas and PIJ dates back to the 1990s, when Tehran saw an opportunity to extend its influence into the Palestinian territories by supporting groups that shared its anti-Israel ideology. The IRGC, specifically its elite Quds force, was tasked with building and strengthening ties with these groups. What began as financial support soon evolved into a comprehensive partnership that included weapons, training, and strategic guidance. Iran's goal was clear: to create a formidable resistance front capable of challenging Israel and complicating any efforts toward a peaceful resolution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Hamas, the Sunni Islamist movement that controls the Gaza Strip, and PIJ, a smaller but equally militant group, both aligned with Iran despite sectarian differences. What united them was a shared commitment to armed resistance against Israel and a deep-seated animosity toward the United States and its allies. Iran, a Shia-majority nation, was more than willing to overlook sectarian divides in pursuit of its broader strategic objectives. For Hamas and PIJ, Iran's support was a lifeline that allowed them to expand their military capabilities and sustain their operations. The IRGC's support for Hamas and PIJ took many forms. Financial aid was the foundation of the relationship, with Iran funneling hundreds of millions of dollars to both groups over the years. This funding allowed Hamas to build an extensive network of tunnels, develop advanced weapons, and maintain control over Gaza despite a punishing blockade. PIJ, while smaller in size, used Iranian funds to enhance its arsenal and recruit fighters dedicated to the cause of jihad. But Iran's assistance went far beyond financial support. The IRGC provided Hamas and PIJ with advanced weaponry, including long-range rockets, anti-tank missiles, and explosives. Iranian engineers and military experts worked closely with Palestinian militants, teaching them how to manufacture weapons locally and develop sophisticated tunnel networks to evade Israeli detection. The IRGC's Quds force, known for its expertise in asymmetric warfare, played a pivotal role in shaping the military strategies of Hamas and PIJ, turning them into formidable insurgent forces. One of the most significant manifestations of this partnership was Hamas's rocket arsenal, which grew exponentially with Iranian assistance. In 2006, Hamas's rocket capabilities were relatively limited, but by the time of the 2014 Gaza war, the group had acquired long-range rockets capable of reaching Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Many of these rockets were either supplied by Iran or built using Iranian blueprints and technology. The Qassam and M302 rockets, among others, became symbols of Hamas's growing military prowess, made possible through IRGC support. The IRGC's training and operational guidance also played a crucial role in shaping Hamas and PIJ's tactics. Palestinian militants were trained in advanced guerrilla warfare, urban combat, and the use of explosive devices. Iranian instructors trained Hamas operatives in Lebanon and Syria, providing them with the skills needed to carry out complex military operations against Israeli forces. This training was evident during multiple conflicts, including the 2014 and 2021 Gaza wars, where Hamas and PIJ displayed a level of coordination and resilience that bore the hallmarks of Iranian influence. But Iran's support for Hamas and PIJ was not limited to military assistance. The IRGC also provided political backing and diplomatic cover for both groups, ensuring that their cause remained on the global agenda. Iran's propaganda machine portrayed Hamas and PIJ as heroic resistance movements fighting against Israeli oppression, amplifying their narratives and legitimizing their actions on the world stage. Tehran's strategic goal was to keep the Palestinian cause alive as a rallying point for the Muslim world and to use Hamas and PIJ as tools to pressure Israel and its Western allies. The 2008, 2014, and 2021 conflicts between Hamas and Israel showcased the extent of Iran's influence over Palestinian militant groups. In each instance, Hamas and PIJ unleashed a barrage of rockets on Israeli cities, triggering devastating retaliatory strikes from the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF. Behind the scenes, the IRGC provided critical logistical and technical support, ensuring that Hamas and PIJ could sustain prolonged engagements with Israel despite overwhelming odds. Iran's strategy was not necessarily to secure a military victory, but to bleed Israel, undermine its sense of security, and mobilize international opinion against the Jewish state. However, Iran's relationship with Hamas has not been without its challenges. The outbreak of the Syrian civil war in 2011 strained ties between Tehran and Hamas, as the Palestinian group refused to side with Iran's ally, Bashar al-Assad, against Sunni rebels. This brief rift led to a temporary reduction in Iranian support, but pragmatism ultimately prevailed. By 2017, Iran and Hamas had repaired their relationship, with Iran renewing its financial and military assistance in full. The IRGC recognized that Hamas, despite its ideological differences, remained an indispensable asset in its broader strategy of resistance against Israel. For Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the relationship with Iran has been even more consistent and unwavering. PIJ has remained a loyal and unflinching ally of Tehran, receiving direct support from the IRGC and acting as a reliable extension of Iran's will in Gaza. Unlike Hamas, which has occasionally sought to balance its relationships with Sunni powers like Qatar and Turkey, PIJ has maintained a steadfast allegiance to Iran, ensuring that the IRGC retains a direct foothold in Palestinian territories. Today, Hamas and PIJ continue to thrive, fortified by years of Iranian investment and strategic support. Their arsenals are more advanced, their tactics more sophisticated, and their resilience more pronounced, thanks to the IRGC's unwavering commitment. For Iran, Hamas and PIJ remain indispensable tools in its asymmetric warfare strategy, capable of disrupting Israeli security and keeping the Palestinian cause at the forefront of regional politics. As long as the IRGC continues to back Hamas and PIJ, the threat of escalation in Gaza remains ever present. Iran's strategy is clear: to keep the flames of conflict alive, ensuring that Israel remains entangled in a perpetual cycle of violence, while Iran consolidates its influence across the region. In the dangerous game of Middle Eastern geopolitics, Hamas and PIJ are not just proxies. They are Iran's frontline soldiers in a war that shows no signs of ending.